is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
They came from the game table, dice bags in hand,
We have one brain that we share between us.
to talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you'll like it.
The original, then basic, then one they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D 2nd edition podcast ever.
So we're going to do the mapping thing. So,
Yep.
Oh God, I don't have a decent map to my name. Hi, folks. THACO's Hammer, splat book number III, or 11, as they call it in the real world. I'm DM Glen, and somebody who can't wait to get on mic is DM Corey.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another show. We're ready to give you inane amounts of our opinion, and you'll like it.
And we have DM Full On Gamer with us.
Greetings, Gamer Nation. This is Full On Gamer coming to you live from the middle of the desert where the sleeper has awakened. Long live the fighters.
You're talking about what? That's war, not love, right? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I was thinking of something else when you said the sleeper awakened. Anyway, and now DM Brian. Say hi, Brian.
Yeah, last but not least, hey folks, what's going on out there?
So we are talking about this week mapping and things like that this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So let us go on to hits and crits.
Well,
one thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly.
so
They were both wrong.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
We're sending somebody in to negotiate.
Anybody else want to negotiate?
Hits and crits.
Hits and crits. All right. What you been doing over in Kuwait, Full On?
I am waiting to keep going into Iraq, so hurry up and wait. Rises again.
Oh,
It's
come
the
on, you
military.
got
That's the modus operandi almost the time, isn't it?
That's military making movies, doing plays, and other things. But don't you get to spend a lot of time playing Tor?
Yes, I do. So it's not all bad.
Okay. I see the Republic is surviving with you.
And the servers are not, blown up or whatever. But so yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So, well, that's a good thing. Brian, what you been up to?
Oh, let's see. Doing the dad thing more than anything else. Let's see. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Heroes and a lot of.
Yeah, that's doing the dad thing, right?
Hey, my son's got to sleep sometime. I got to do something. And also playing Path of Exile. Getting a couple of good adventure ideas from that. And I have been trying to still trying to do THACO Manor. It's just that I'm either I'm tending to my son, or I'm working, or that kind of stuff.
Brian, you working?
Yeah, hey, 2 jobs. What can I tell you?
Wow. Have time for this?
Yeah, well, you want to know something? Truth be told, I came close to begging off because I've been running around for almost 12 straight hours. But I'm like, no, the show must go on. We're in a groove. Let's keep it rolling.
Folks, we got to start a Kickstarter for Brian to keep him awake.
Just give me a case of 5-hour energy. I'll be fine.
Make it. Do a Patreon. Do a patron.
Yeah, Patreon.
Corey, how's the gaming?
Oh, well, we're moving to hits and crits already?
We're already been
How
in
much
there.
have I had
We've
to
been
drink?
in hits and crits.
How much have I had to drink?
Dude.
Yeah, gaming's been fun. Gaming's played last time. My nephew came over and jumped in to the campaign. He's been on and off, one of my players for a while. Girlfriend shows up, new girlfriend shows up, he disappears for a while. He finds a new girlfriend, he comes over and hangs out, plays D&D a couple sessions, and the whole cycle repeats.
Mm-hmm.
It was his birthday. last Sunday when we played.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yeah, his character's now on the wall of death for his birthday present.
Oh, Corey.
I didn't mean to kill him. Well, I didn't kill him, actually. One of the other players did. They were fighting in a nice estate that the king's sister, one of the princesses, offered the party, and they were beset upon by foul creatures attempting to assassinate them. Mm-hmm. One of them was a magic wielder of some power, and he went down fighting with melee down to 0 hit points and laid on the floor, nice, calm as can be. And I had the mage cast the fireball in the hallway.
Yeah,
about 10 feet behind him.
Fire in the hole.
Yeah,
that
so
would do it.
Yeah, I didn't. I at the time. I wasn't planning on killing him, but at the time the action, it fit, and everybody was just like, dude, on his birthday. And I'm like,
oops.
He was gaming on his birthday. That's the prize.
Yeah, you're dead.
Well, the good news is he made a new character, and now he's playing a dwarven cleric, so now he's happy as pie because now he can hit and heal. So.
Has he ever brought his girlfriend of the moment over to play?
Yes, once and never to play, because that's rule number 6 on my wall. No audience members when we play D&D.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but did she?
She didn't play. No.
Oh, damn! I'm just waiting for the. What are these dice for?
Oh, God.
No, usually that's the people who are actually trying to play usually say that when they're sitting at the table, and most of my veterans are just like, oh.
Yeah.
And then and my long ago champions game. How many dice do I roll to hit? Hi, Robin. Anyway, and what about the artwork? What about the artwork?
Been cranking out artwork for some commissions again for Basic Fantasy RPG, Solo Mariah, and Smoothie. Pulled me back in. I'm doing some work for And magazine. I got 3 or 4 pieces in And magazine issue number 12 coming out, and getting some artwork together for the comic book.
Cool. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Hey, Glenn.
Oh, me. Yo.
Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah, me. A few things have been going on. Let's see. I've got my PDF of Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls, so I know that's coming if Gen Con would just get out of the way. God, it's like you want you want your rewards? Forget it. You got to wait until Gen Con's over, whether they're going or not. Anyway, but that's my gripe for the week. I'm got another stage show. We're doing a Mice and Men. Mm-hmm. I'm doing a Mice and Men, and that doesn't start for another week or so as of this recording. So I can do this for a little while longer. Yay! Mm-hmm. And nay for some people. And gaming wise, I got a game coming up Saturday. Another chapter in the Legend of Zelda 5th edition.
Oh, geez, they're still playing that?
Yeah, he's got like 1 or 2 sessions to go. But the thing is, two of our people dropped the group. One of which was Matt. Mm-hmm. And he's more interested in his Thursday game. So it's me and Eric who are going to be running the group, and Eric is not ready yet. Mm-hmm. So after he gets done with the 5th edition game, we're all going to play some more Mutant Future.
Nothing wrong with that.
We're going to continue with the acquisitions department down there. Mm-hmm. So, that's about it. We got any emails?
Oh, yeah, we got emails. Definitely got emails. And actually, I'm going to start it off by reading a message I got from somebody who got a hold of me on Dragon's Foot and wanted to say a few things. So this is from
Brian. I'd like to punch you.
Yeah, like I'd read that.
Well, you said Dragon's Foot, so I just assumed.
yeah, you would think. I mean, I hate to say it like this, but yeah, when I read this in my email, when I saw it in my email, I'm like, oh God, who's coming after me now and for what? That's the first thought I had, but no, it's actually fairly complimentary. So, without any further ado, this is from DM Jesse. Okay. He says, been listening to THACO's Hammer for the past few weeks, currently up to episode/Splatbook 26. Found the whole Wild Game Productions family of podcasts about 6 months ago and finished the backload of RFI a few weeks back and moved on to you guys. I'm like, geez. I mean, what? How many episodes are Fi up? They're in like the 150s or something,
Yeah, they're
right?
up to like 158, 157, somewhere like that.
They can
Yeah.
keep. That's good.
Yeah. Well, it's all good. Okay. And he said, as a guy a few months out from 40, second edition was the one I really wanted to get into during my high school years. Being a major fantasy geek, I got close to D&D gaming with my other metalhead friends, but garage bands and girls kind of won out back then. Yeah, I can kind of understand that. Yeah. Now that I'm married for 4 years with a stepdaughter, I thought I would give it a go with 5e. I figured if I bought and read everything that came out as it's released, I would be about ready to jump right into games. Well, I guess I could if I wanted to, but after learning the game, I ordered the reprints of first edition and read those. Now, oh, it gets better. Now, after buying all the 1E hardbacks, I'm knee-deep in 2E collections, scouring eBay for deals of books in decent shape. Cha-ching.
Where's
Average.
this guy again? Did the guy say where what is?
Hmm?
Where did he say he was from?
He hadn't. He did not.
Okay.
And he did not.
Well,
Oh,
wherever you are,
wait a minute.
Half Price Books is your friend.
Oh,
Anyway,
wait a
go
minute.
ahead.
Actually, he lives somewhere north of Tampa, Florida.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Actually, I could say something, but I don't think that the gaming store's there. I'll get to it. Let's see. Scouring eBay for deals of books in decent shape, averaging 2 books a week incoming. Damn, I need help. Yeah.
Wow.
two books a week off of eBay. Man, what kind of job do you have? Let's see. About halfway through the second edition Player's Handbook, I'm kind of glad I read all the core Winnie stuff first. Still feeling this edition I would like to play through, though I need more study time. I could have had a game of 5e up and running quickly here in my area just north of Tampa, but older stuff might be a hard sell at the local gaming store. So I may be headed to Roll20 in the next month or so. That's a good alternative.
yes, it is.
Let's see. You can just jump into almost any game that's looking for players and at least get a good idea of the gaming system you're using. To continue with all that rambling, I just wanted to say I love the show and you are one of my favorite hosts. I respect your insight and input on 2E and everything gaming. I hope you guys have many more future episodes. Regards, Jesse Odom.
Thank you, Jesse. And if Brian leaves, I'm not listening anymore. Okay.
Oh, gee, that would put pressure on me. Jeez. But
Yeah.
let's see. Yeah, I can kind of understand the eBay issues because going from, I'd say probably about 1999 to early 2001, yeah, I was buying on eBay constantly. And yeah, it was getting ridiculous. When I paid $60 for a gazetteer that I couldn't find anywhere else. Yeah, I did. Yeah. That's probably the most expensive thing I ever got.
This is why I like to go through third parties when I'm doing it online, like on Facebook and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I will buy off eBay if I have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, eBay's the last resort, though.
I mean, to me, my copy of City State Invincible Overlord was $35. That was the most I've ever paid.
Yeah. But yeah, the one gazetteer was the one that everybody wanted, and it was the rarest out of the whole group, believe it or not. And yeah, I'm just like, all right, I've got the extra money. I'll just buy it. What the hell? But after that, I looked at it, and I'm like, why did I do this again? Just so I could have a complete set of gazetteers? What's wrong with me? I'm not doing this again. So yeah, that's pretty much where it went.
Yeah.
So
I understand that. Well, here's my list that I tell everybody. First off, Half Price Books, if you have it in your area.
Mm-hmm.
Other mom and pop bookstores, garage sales, Craigslist. People have had good luck with Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
I've never have. I think you have to look out of your area, and I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Craigslist is actually halfway decent if the people that you're dealing with are on the up and up. I've had
You can say about any kind of online deals.
That's true, including eBay. But yeah, I had a bad experience on Craigslist, so maybe I'm.
And I would also recommend Facebook. There are like at least a half a dozen Facebook RPG buy, sell, auction type groups out there that I've gotten a couple of good deals off of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good way to go too. So eBay is not your be all and end all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not like the good old days when I used to sneak into Walden bookstores with an empty backpack, and I may or may not have taken a few books home, or B. Dalton's, or any of those bookstores that are no longer around now due to legal matters. I cannot neither confirm nor deny that some of those books may have went home for review purposes only.
And you like them so much they kind of stayed.
Yeah.
Or in my gaming group, I think the term was borrowed on a permanent basis.
Yeah.
Corey, do you have email? You want to read one, or you want me to continue?
No, go ahead and continue. I want to talk about that Kickstarter though as soon as you're done.
Okay.
Like when you're done with emails.
Okay. All right.
What
Moving
else
on.
we got?
Let's see. We got one from Oisolaris from the message boards, and this one is a little bit long, but I think we can kind of parse it a little bit. So here we go.
Which our message board?
I think Dragon's Foot and a couple other places. I see him on Dragon's Foot more than any place else, actually.
Okay.
So he says, "This is Stephen Oisolarius on the boards. I'm catching up. I just finished Splat Book 40 on the Tannerai. First, I love the show, so keep it up. Second," and he capitalizes the title, N-World has a nice pronunciation page on the various words from fantasy RPGs and D&D in particular. There you'll find things like Baylor, or like the university and not Balor, or that the emphasis on Tannerai is on the second syllable and the I at the end is pronounced as it would in German. Oh goodness! So that's like how Corey pronounces it actually.
Tanarach.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the Tanari?
Yes, that's how.
Tanari.
That's exactly how he said it. Yeah. Okay.
That's full on pronounce it.
Okay. Third, I have a
Same way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always pronounced it Tannerai, but Tannerai, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off.
Tanari.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Listen. When you hear Rob Salvatore say it, that's how I say it.
Oh.
Don't go dungeon crawling without your Tanari in a cage.
Yeah, when you hear Ed Greenwood call it that, that's how I say it.
Tannery in a coal mine. Anyway,
oh,
go ahead.
Boy. Wow. Holy crap. Okay, third, I have a Baylor story for you all. Back in the day, 1 years ago or so, Lincoln's been in the news really recently for his 150th anniversary of his assassination. I was playing a cleric of balance, so officially a true neutral alignment, but in retrospect, I was playing him more like neutral good. He was around 5th or 6th level, I can't remember for sure, when my then DM had my cleric's god appear and tell him that the party's mage, an 11th level mage named Dal, so you can guess who he was supposed to be emulating, had turned to the dark side and was threatening the balance of the world, in this case a homebrew world called Midgard, with the hometown called Killian. My character was told by his god he needed to eliminate the mage in order to prevent the world from falling into shadow. Naturally, the mage cleaned my character's clock, and the entire incident was cooked up by my DM as a lesson in blind faith, or rather as a lesson.
Oh, he was
the dangers of blind faith. Yeah. Wow. Let's see. In the real world, he had a thing against religious extremism and non-critical, unreflective thought. He brought this into the game, in which I played my cleric as a truly faithful servant. As it turned out, the god which had appeared to my character and ordered the death of the mage was actually a Baylor impersonating my character's deity. When my character was defeated by Dal, the Baylor took him into the abyss, and because I didn't have my character pray and question his god's orders, his god became angry and banished him to the abyss, where he would spend eternity as the Baylor's toy, making any attempt by the rescue party futile. Wow. I had to roll up a new character, which I don't remember because I really liked my cleric. The only class I like more than clerics are psionicis, and then and then traders. But since my DM didn't allow psionicist and Dark Sun hadn't come out yet, yeah, okay. I'm still hoping to one day to play with a different DM, or to DM a group that have a PC who will convince them to go to the abyss and rescue my cleric, sort of like a Tron 2 story.
I've done that.
Yeah, I've done that too, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah. Fourth, regarding creatures from the outer planes and turning ability of clerics, there's a good article in Dragon number 140 on the inherent flaws in the raw turning tables and logic by Robert Stockdale, titled As the Cleric Turns. I like this article as a complete replacement for the rules as written turning tables, and I would like to expand it to take the turning table from the Guide to Hell that is set up for Outer Planes creatures, and which I would expand to evil clerics against angelic beings too. On the surface, it seems easy enough, but I wonder why the Lemure are turned between 1 and 2 hit dice instead of one or the other. This is a minor complication for the translation over to the Stockdale level hit dice turning table instead of the straight type turning table. Excuse me. Any explanations? Thanks, guys. Always hilarious.
Go for it, guys.
Okay. I'll start. First thing.
Please.
First thing, that DM was a dick. I'm sorry. That's pretty damn horrible to pull on a player. It's like, when you think about it, unless the God's orders are completely and totally and completely off base, or just completely out of sort of, should I say, character for the person's deity, asking him to do something is completely just off the pale. Yeah, that's usually him.
I'm getting, and I'm going to invite you with me to go to the 9 hells, and we're going to smash us some demons. Would you like to join me? Oh, certainly, sir. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
No problem. Let's do this. What? You're not him? Oops.
Yeah, oops. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and see, when you've got a DM that's taking his personal views on a mechanic in the game,
anything.
Well, in this particular case, on the belief system that clerics have 90% of their power invested in, if you're basically messing with one of your players because you don't like how this goes, you're a penis. And I'll just leave it at that.
I think you're going too lightly. First of all, I've had people do this. I've had DMs that I've sat at their table, and within 10 minutes of after finding out that I picked the wrong class because their personal views didn't mesh well, or they didn't like psionics, or they didn't like, I don't know, drow or whatever, or people who are like, well, I'm Christian and there'll be no demons in my thing. Nobody can be anything but good, because I won't play with anyone who would want to be an evil person. Whatever. The point is, at that point, you should have got up off the table and left. And the guy should have realized his views. If they were that strong, he felt that strongly about it. If this is his own homeworld, all right, cool, no clerics. What do you mean? There's no gods. There's one god. Okay, well, can I be a priest? Sure, you don't get spells.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's like the real world. If that's what your view is, set your world that you're going to DM accordingly, but warn your players first.
Right.
That way, you've covered your butt, and your caveat is, hey, this is my world, you're living in it. Do you want to live in it or not? It's up to the player then.
It's your choice to play or not.
Well,
yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
Brian's right. This guy's beyond. I mean, this guy's a douche canoe. And,
Yeah.
he doesn't know how to DM. And you know what? A lot of people throw that around, but, some people just don't understand the correct process of making sure that your players are entertained as well as you are.
That's right. And when I run games, religion and politics do not belong at my table.
Yeah.
Period.
Take that and just leave it at the door.
You want to talk about it all you want before or after or whatever. I don't like talking about. I hate talking in politics, and it's not in my game. You can talk about as much as you want, but it's not going to be in my game.
The only politics in my game are what the Kings in the Game of Thrones is doing.
Well, I don't even like that kind of stuff. The Machiavellian,
Yeah, that's kind of why I tuned out of Game of Thrones.
I think it's because Becky watches too many of those conspiracy shows.
Well, to me, that's what most of the Renaissance time and medieval times and fiefdoms and kingdoms were run like.
True.
We wouldn't have those tropes for television shows nowadays if that really wasn't the way people acted.
Yeah.
I
agree.
What was the whole premise behind Lady Hawk?
Yeah, exactly.
Religious, political underpinnings and curses and lust and stuff. But yeah, whatever.
So I have to have that to have my. So I have to have that to have my Errol Flinnery.
Yeah.
High adventure, because I won't know. I mean, I don't want my game to devolve into like one of the Bourne books.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, look at your Errol Flynnery. What was your Robin Hood dealing with? Same thing.
True.
Yep, a corrupt king.
But just on a cheesier approach.
Yep.
Are you calling me cheesy?
No, just the approach.
Oh, yes.
It's quite good.
I walked right into that one.
Oh boy, it's gonna be that one of those nights, folks.
Oh yeah, I'd rather just have him say "Take me to your leadercrons." But anyway, let's do another one.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, for the record,
Matt, I remember
throw this in as an add-on. My nephew that lost his character. He picked one of the 3x5 index cards and was more than happy to play what he got.
There you go.
Right on.
Awesome.
So we never answered the other part of his question.
Oh yeah, about the clerics turning thing.
Yeah, that's because they're demons and they break rules, so
Yeah.
they have to be weird.
Yeah, and most of the time, and see, I have no problem with the rules as written anyway, because I'm like, you should. I mean, when it comes to demons and devils or tannery and whatever, they got a bit of a power boost in second edition as well, and so they go to the special category, and that's where they stay. You know, if you want to break it down by hit dice, which is actually what they did in second edition as well, so you have that if you want to use it. But when it comes to you know, the lesser ones, yeah, you can do those by hit dice. That's no big deal. The greater ones, no, those are all on the special category, and even then, you might not be able to do it depending on what's standing in front of you. But yeah, I mean, I've seen this debate on Dragon's Foot myself, and I'm just like, I think some people make it out to be a lot worse than what it is. It's fine for what it does, and I've never had a problem with turning, as long as I've ran second edition. So
Brian, what do you think? What do you think about you and I starting a new podcast for Wild Games Productions? It'll be "What's Wrong with Dragon's Foot" with Brian and Glenn.
Oh God, yeah, we could.
No, but you have. If that's the case, then you have to put Vince on there too.
Oh my God, yeah, that's right. Because remember, Vince got kicked off there.
That's right.
Over some moderate BS, but we digress.
Moderation. Yeah. Anyway,
okay.
Thank you, and the lesson is don't be a dick. Anyway.
Yeah, basically.
One more.
All right, let's see. Let me run through some stuff here real quick. Let's see. Okay. This one's from FD. Has another suggestion. He's been full of suggestions as of late, actually.
Hi, FD.
Okay.
Are we putting him on the show anytime soon?
If he wants to come on, he's more than welcome to it.
All right.
Well, speaking of that, All Dragon has said that anytime we want, anytime we need him, he's down for it. So. I figure we could pull him in for some normal stuff and some more specific stuff in the future. Okay, so
I say we pull All Dragon, DM Kojo, and FD on the show at the same time, and all three of us sit back with Pop.
Yeah, we could just mute our mics and let them go at it. Mano. Yeah. Okay. So, he's basically asking to do a Greyhawk / stuff from 1E show. We had one from Splatbook 110 asking the same thing. Let's see. You could do a monster from the Greyhawk Monstrous Compendium for Snipe Hunt. I like the Mist Wolf personally. God, I can't talk tonight. You can do the Scarlet Brotherhood Monk. Done it. Done it a long time ago, FD. The Assassin for People Skills, or it's in the book. You can do any of the Sergeant Area Greyhawk stuff. I have it in the pipe, but as with Dragonlance, it's getting a couple of people who help co-host the show a little bit more interested in it, and I will leave it at that. Let's see.
Okay, I'm still waiting on us for us to do the Were Campestries and the Dire Campestries.
Dire Campestry.
Yeah. The ones you ride.
Yeah, Dire Dragonborn Campestries. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fiendish Dire Were Kerpka.
Hey, I'd love to see that.
It could be worse. He could be a Wereflumph.
Oh God, can you imagine that? Well, let's just go
all.
Or
for Coria, Were Odiug.
No, Were Grell.
Or Were Grell, yeah.
A weregrow. That would be awesome. Just
Uh-oh.
have some brainy guy, like really smart, maybe a sage with a big hawk nose. That would be awesome. So
If Corey's group is listening out there, I'm sorry.
Blame FD. He's the one who brought this up. But anyway,
that's fine.
But yeah, FD. We've done a few of these in previous Splat books, but I do have a Greyhawk show in the pipe. I think it's down around Splat book 119 or something like that. So stay tuned. And that's pretty much all our emails for this evening.
All right. And if you want to give us any emails, tons and tons of emails, send it to Brian's email. Send it to THACOSammer@gmail.com. And if you want to call us, send it to Corey's phone. What's the number?
806-405. Wait.
Reverse that.
405-806-0555.
I thought he'd never screw it up. I've been kidding.
He's been drinking, folks. He drinks a bit.
I only drink 2 times a day. That's daytime and nighttime.
Oh, I thought. Okay, fine. So.
And then why?
Oh yeah. So let's go on to people skills.
Pretty sure we have time to bear them, fellas.
Hell with them fellas. Buzzards gotta eat, same as worms.
How can you shoot women, children? Easy. You just don't lead them so much. Ain't war hell?
Or shall I find a new adversary so close to my own level?
Try the local sewer.
People skills.
People skills. The cartographer kit and the cartography non-weapon proficiency, which is in the Sages and Specialists Splat book. You remember that Splat book, the one I had a problem with?
Yeah.
Because it had non-player character classes in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, they've been doing NPC classes for a long time, Glenn. This is nothing new.
I've always disagreed with it too.
Yeah, but
you don't introduce a class in a game and not expect the players to want to play it.
I doubt that. The way they did these classes, unless you have really role play heavy games or you just have that guy as a player, they're not going to want to play him. Trust me. Trust me. Because yeah. Go ahead.
Well, Tim Kask said a long time ago when they used to put him in Dragon, he said we put him as non-player character classes because they were too overpowered to make him player character classes, but we still wanted to publish them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't doubt that.
There you go. I'm not going to get into the book, but let's get into the cartography thing here.
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's see. I'll just read the little primer here. In a fantasy world, as in any other world, information is power. This is true, especially true for adventurers who travel into the unknown in search of treasure, magic, and fame. Heroes that seek that path less traveled find that a bit of reliable information is their most powerful weapon. That is so true. Maps constitute a large part of an adventurer's most informative items. No matter how fearless an adventuring party or how talented their guide, they must at least know the general location of a treasure before they can travel in search of it. True again.
True.
This is why most heroes invest in reliable maps. Most heroic tales tell of old, wizened townspeople who sell maps in darkened taverns. Yeah, there's a trope for you. Let's see. However, experienced heroes are hardly willing to trust a large investment of their time, money, and safety to a piece of paper hastily scribbled by a noxious, boozy old grifter. Oh, that's great. And Galney knows...
I'm introducing an obnoxious, boozy old grifter in my next game.
There you go. Let's see. Wise adventurers turn to a reputable cartographer for all their mapping needs. Not only can a cartographer supply reliable maps, but he can also neatly copy an adventuring party's hastily made maps. Additionally, adventurers can hire cartographers to participate in quests where their map-making skills can prove invaluable. Okay. They break down these NPC classes by let's see, experience, THACO, and hit dice, what they have for the class, their experience point levels, ability score requirements, let's see, permissible armor and weapons, individual experience awards, Let's see, proficiencies, of course, which that's the other reason why players wouldn't want to play them, because they're really proficiency heavy. They don't and it's not balanced out by anything else.
Exactly.
Okay, so to break down the cartographer, they have their own level advancement. It looks like they advance like thieves, but they only have 4-sided hit dice up to the 8th level and 2 hit points per level after that. And they don't receive bonus hit points for high con either.
That's another one they turn off player characters.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Ability score requirements. They need to have a minimum intelligence of 12 and a minimum dex of 10. That's to be able to how should I say it? What did they say? Because map making is a difficult calling that requires a great deal of patience and the ability to understand spatial relationships.
They need Corey's dexterity, basically.
Is it a 12?
I can hang out a 5th floor window drunken. It's easily 18.
This is true. But the wisdom, especially after a few
wisdom.
drinks.
Yeah.
I am far from wise.
At least you acknowledge it. Let's see.
There's wisdom in that.
Yeah, there is actually. Let's see. Their prime requisite is intelligence, of course. Permissible armors and weapons. They have no armor restrictions, but when making maps, they can't wear gauntlets or armor heavier than chain. They can only use weapons available to rogues. They don't spend much time on weaponry, as they are far more concerned with improving their map-making skills, which makes sense.
I'm going to make a sword for them.
Okay.
Yes, it's going to look like a giant fountain pen, because the pen is mightier than the sword.
Oh, I should have seen it coming. Yeah, he did. Like I said, it's one of those nights, folks. Let's see.
Cartographers are kind of awesome. They're like, obviously this is, where things like Volo comes from. If you've read any of the Fae books, or the Living Dead Fae books, no, that's not the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about. The Barbara Hambly books with the half vampires and the map making scribes and stuff like that. It's along the same lines as that. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. They have. Of course, they have their experience awards and whatnot. Let's see, and these are number of experience points handed out for the creation of a new map, which it could be simple map up to 100 square yards. That's 1 XP per square yard. Maps that cover a great deal of area up to 100 square miles are 5 XP per square mile. And so basically what this is, they get the majority of their XP by, of course, drawing maps instead of going out and fighting monsters and getting treasure and that kind of thing. Let's see. The cartographer gets 2 weapon proficiencies at first level and gets a new one every 5 levels. So yeah, another reason why because they're not interested in weapons. -4 non-proficiency penalty. Go ahead.
Can they do ranged?
Yeah, sure. They can take like a short bow.
+2 paper airplanes.
Oh god, yeah, I could see that. There's another proficiency. Yeah, making paper airplane. Oh, now that would go under what's that? What's that proficiency? Not origami, but it's something else. Never mind.
Origami's fine. I was about to say weapon proficiency origami. How you fold those shurikens. You ever watch Read or Die? You can do a lot with paper.
This is true.
Yes. Paper's not just for paper cuts anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, talk about paper cuts. They get 4 non-weapon proficiencies at first level and gain a new one every 3 levels. At first level, they must, of course, take the cartography non-weapon proficiency, which we will get into, and they must also take direction sets. And they say, a map maker who can't tell direction will have a short-lived career.
Isn't there a, I don't know if this is a kit or a non-weapon proficiency, don't they have orienteering?
That's in, I want to say, the complete
Wilderness Survivor Guide.
Is that it?
Oh, that's 1E. Okay.
Well, yeah, but
I have to look that up.
Ported forward.
I could see this as an adventuring character, but only for somebody who would be role play heavy, because nobody who wants that's very crunchy wants to play this character.
Yep.
But do you remember the movie Dragonheart?
Oh,
yes.
The guy following him?
Yes.
Yeah. The cartographer,
yes,
for sure.
The monk, yeah.
Yeah, you could just easily be the guy who needs to scribe down maps, and I'll follow this brave adventurers under the condition you guys protect me. Sound good? Sounds good. Let's do this.
Yeah. I will write your tales, yes.
Yep.
And places you've been. So
well, see, I have actually
take some extra language proficiencies, wander into the goblin lair, talk to them, find out what they're feeling, get the names of the people in the back.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Proficiency, orienteering, and/or spelunking.
There you go. That's what it is. Let's see. And also, they must take the forgery proficiency because that permits them to copy maps made by others. And they'll be able to actually spot fake maps made by con artists, which is another good thing. Can you imagine, the player spending, like, say, 5,000 gold pieces on this map that, the person swears is legitimate, and then they take it to our cartographer just on a lark, and he takes a look at it and says, "You spent how much on this? This isn't even worth the ink that it's made with or the paper it's written on."
Even worse.
Yeah.
Dude, you paid for this? This is my map that I threw out last week. Think about it. Somebody walks by his trash bin. Oh, map. I'm going to sell this to some dupe adventurer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'd create an
It would be awesome if he was like, this one wasn't perfect. I have to redo it. So you get a lot of erroneous maps out there with, minor errors, major errors, or complete fictions.
Mm-hmm. I'd have an NPC who is the best cartographer in the land. I mean, his maps are perfect. Everybody uses them. The adventurers go there, and he's cross-eyed.
Yeah, how does that? But do they?
It just either he has the ability, or he has something like a magical pair of glasses
that focus his eyes.
Wait a minute. What do you mean?
He works for a deity of navigation.
What do you mean? What do you mean my map's no good? Are you telling me that there's no secret cabin of the flying nude female pie bakers? This is junk. I want my money back.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. They give some suggestions about some NWPs that a cartographer should take, like artistic ability to embellish and decorate maps so he can sell them at a higher price. Of course, modern and ancient languages, which will allow them to translate foreign maps, and of course, navigation. So, those they only make sense. I like the fact that the author took a little time to do that.
Never buy a map from Jackson Pollock. Anyway,
yeah. Okay, getting into cartography, which is right after this.
The non-weapon proficiency.
Correct.
Tell me about it.
Okay, this proficiency permits a character to create maps of any kind. To do so, the character must develop an excellent sense of spatial relationships and become a good judge of distances. When called upon to manufacture a new map, the first thing a cartographer must do is research the area to be mapped. The length of this research depends on the size of the area. Obviously, mapping out the borders of a kingdom is much more involved task than mapping out the streets of a small town. Makes sense. While performing his research, the character may take several sketches. Once he's done with his research, the cartographer uses these sketches along with his other notes to construct the map. The DM then rolls the die and secretly checks the result against the mapper's cartography skill. That's important. That's definitely important. The DM rolls the die on that.
This sounds way familiar. Like how to create a magic item,
something like that.
That's the first thing I skip in a game book.
Mm-hmm. How to create a magic item.
I said, unless it's really needed while the player wants to actually do this, then okay, fine, I'll read up on it.
Right.
But
okay.
Anyway.
If the check fails, the cartographer comes up with an inaccurate, entirely useless map. The cartographer could sell the poorly made map, but his reputation would suffer, and the purchasers would certainly come looking for the seller once they discovered how bad it is. Okay. If the DM rolls a natural 20 on the proficiency check, the cartographer does not realize the inaccurate nature of the map. Otherwise, the character is aware that the map contains flaws. Conversely, if the DM rolls a 1 on the check, the cartographer's is created an almost perfect map. The cartography community at large will use the perfect map as a model from which all other maps of the area in question are based. So, and such a map is worth triple the normal XP to the cartographer. So that's pretty cool. Another.
We can have fun with that.
We
could have fun with that.
Yeah, for sure. Another use of the proficiency is to create a map from a area from memory. When making a map entirely from memory without notes or sketches, the character suffers a -3 penalty to the check. Success, however, means the cartographer reproduces a useful map of the area in question. The proficiency can also be used to estimate distances. In most cases, the cartographer can automatically estimate distances with 90% accuracy, so that doesn't require a check. And he can choose to make a proficiency check, which, if successful, enables to judge distances with a 100% accuracy. So that's actually pretty cool.
And now you start getting into things like surveying lands.
Yeah, exactly. And what do they call that instrument they use?
It's called the spell flight for wizards.
Yeah.
But flight and a pair of binoculars.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. Or you want to know what? Eyes of the Eagle would be like a cartographer's dream
valuable
item. Yeah, for sure. And then they go into what a cartographer needs to be able to use all of his abilities. He has a studio. So each cartographer starts off at a meager studio at first level, and after that he must pay 200 gold pieces per level to upgrade it. So for every level of experience and the upgrade level of studio, every level of experience between for that, he suffers a -2 penalty to his cartography checks. And so it's one of these things where you have to keep spending money in order to keep upgrading your studio in order to turn out good maps. So yeah,
right.
Yeah, actually, I like this.
That's how he makes his living. I mean,
Exactly. So yeah, he has to devote whatever money he gets to right back into his craft, which is actually kind of true for most of the NPCs in the supplement, really. Whether he's a blacksmith or cartographer or whatever else. So,
right.
So yeah, I mean, I like this. I like this because you don't have to consult a sage. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about it. There's an NPC in my campaign world, who is more or less an 8th level fighter, but I may just change him over, keep his XP the same, but change him over to a cartographer, because that's pretty much what he does, is go out into the wild and, draw maps and, draw maps of certain unexplored areas and so forth, for the kingdom. So, yeah.
Any other suggestions, guys, for a cartographer or the proficiency?
Yeah, leave the cartography skill. Good. Cartography kit, leave him in town, make something else.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if
I've actually played with people who took the cartographer kit,
and we took them out into the world dungeon crawling. It was night below, so they were value added.
Yeah, geez, we start getting
the murder hole.
Yep, of course. You're getting up on Glen's level as far as plugs go, but anyway. They do give an example of a typical cartographer at the end of the kit description, which is actually kind of cool. Personality, everything else. I like this because it gives examples of each of these kits and how they actually work. Excuse me. So.
Right. Well, tell us all about it, people, at thacoshammer@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Let us move on to Rule 0.
Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rule?
Hey, rules are, there ain't no rules.
Hey! Ladies! That was fun!
Thank you for a very enjoyable day.
Rule 0.
Rule Zero. Now, before we get into Rule Zero, Corey, tell me about that Kickstarter you wanted to tell.
Yeah, I was just saying something. I was actually talking to you guys. Didn't realize I was on mute. Sorry, my drink was.
Yeah, he mentioned plugs, and it just. I didn't think of hair plugs. I thought of you.
So all of our listeners out there, you're role players, you're second edition D&D players, or maybe you're not. But regardless, you got dice. Well, you need something to put them in. And if you're not as cool as Glenn and have a plethora of velvet bags,
Crown Royal dice bags,
you need something to put them in. What cooler thing would be a small treasure box to put your dice in? A friend of mine by the name of Sean Brooks has a Kickstarter up. It's under projects called Epic Gaming Party. Type that in as a search and you'll find the project. He's making custom gaming chests. He also runs a YouTube channel called Epic Gaming Party. And it's not a big Kickstarter, so he's definitely going to get this.
Yeah,
he's already gone over his goal. His goal is...
You're welcome.
Yes, full on back this project and pushed him over the top. It was a simple $200 goal Kickstarter to make some chests.
Yeah, that's the top, right?
Now the kicker's this: yes, you can go out to any arts and crafts store, pick up a wooden chest that are pre-made and paint it, and boom, you got a treasure chest. These are handmade with real leather, and he's hand making each one. These are going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So if you can get on this, it's still up for 45 days. He's got 3 different sizes, or you can buy multiples of the same size, like Full On did.
Yeah, he just did.
So what, Roland? You're going to give them away for Christmas presents or what?
No, I have one for me, one for Mrs. Full On Gamer, because she games too, and another one for me to actually, I'm going to have him customize it to hold my tarot cards.
Awesome.
I'd love to get a hold of one of those just to make Matt drool at the game.
Yeah, I mean the one.
Brad. I'm sorry, Brad would be the one who's drooling.
But yeah, if you're out there and you're listening, get on this. It's something cool to have. He has a bunch of different varieties and tops. Some are leather covered tops. Some of them are strip leather tops with some carving on the top.
And they look cool.
Yeah.
Very.
Very cool.
The one with the D20 carved in the top of it is beautiful.
Yep.
Absolutely gorgeous.
That's it.
Go check it out, folks. Kickstarter.com. And let's get into Rule Zero: mapping styles and methods. Well, it's been a long time, but I do maps. I mean, when I started, I remember I don't know, dip my penis in lampblack or something and put it on the wall.
No. That's not what I meant. That's not
okay.
That's not what we meant.
Well, that's back when I was in that place that gave me Jello. They gave me crayons because they wouldn't give me a pen. Anyway, map styles and methods. Well, we got 4 different styles right here. Who wants to start?
Let's see. Well, I'm the one. If it's up to me to map, and the last time I did any serious mapping was the Undermountain campaign that I played back in, I'd say probably like 91, 92. And it fell on me to map because nobody else cared enough to map, and the DM was always looking for us to mess up so he could pounce on us in a way or two. So
we never do that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Obviously.
Obviously, yeah, exactly, full on. But when you're in a place like Undermountain, you have to keep maps. You have to. Because there are just too many ways to take a wrong turn. There's enough things going on that will mess with you as is just by walking along, minding your own business. Never mind, doing a complete exploration of it.
Hell, in Undermountain, making maps of Undermountain was the job. That was what we signed up with Dernan of the Yawning Portal to provide. Mm-hmm. We had to come back with maps to get paid.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually a pretty interesting way to use Undermountain for sure. But
it teaches your gamers how to map.
Yeah, too. And that too. And the way I did it was completely freehand. I mean, the only spare paper we had were these notepads that were maybe 4 by 6 or something like that, maybe 4 by 8. And so I didn't have a lot of material to work with. So I'm basically, as we're going down corridors, I'm like, okay, did we turn right here? Okay. So basically, I'm drawing just a single line depicting a corridor, and if we turn right, of course, I go up. If we turn left, I go down. And we're going this way and that way and this way. And I looked at those. I still have those maps, and I looked at them like almost 20 years later, and I'm like, I would never be able to make heads or tails of this if I just looked at it sight unseen. But yeah, I just do it freehand. That's how I do it.
Corey, what about you? You the artist guy.
How do I map?
Yes.
How do you make maps and such?
Yeah.
With graph paper mainly. If it's for the game and it's for the campaign, I'm definitely going in with a mission. I'll actually, instead of doing grids, I'll just take a plain white piece of paper and do lines for the hallway, crisscrossing them as they need to be, drawing circles for the roofs. And then I'll go in and make a rough copy like that. And then when I'm done, I'll take it to graph paper so I can keep my idea.
I admire people who can do that.
And then
I need graph paper.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, then, and I hate to speak ill of her because she's not here to defend herself, but I've played enough games with Allie, one-on-one and in group settings where, yeah, it gets to be a little much. I'm gritting my teeth a little bit because she wants to make the map absolutely perfect, and it's like, you're doing this fast and dirty in a dungeon. You don't have the time to say, oh, was this 50 feet or was this 60 feet? I mean...
Yes, you do. We take the time.
Yeah. And the DM's blood pressure goes up, and, wandering monsters start happening by a little bit more frequently.
Good, more XP.
Yeah.
Plus we have a map.
Yeah, but yeah.
I've drawn maps before. I came to the realization that I don't like drawing maps.
Mm-hmm.
You don't?
It's one of those things I have to do.
Yeah.
That I want to just get it done. So, using the power of the internet, I just steal one.
You steal one.
What I've done is there are tons and tons and tons and metric buttloads of maps out there that people make that you can use, and did you know you could modify them for your use? Wow. There's ones that are already done you can modify. There are ones that are blank. They say, okay, here's a map with some rooms. Do whatever you want with it.
Yep.
You can take the classic module maps that come with maps and
That's
modify those. Like I had
Yes.
to fix the creature dungeon or monster dungeon maps because they didn't make sense. So I had to pivot one level of it 90 degrees and move pieces of it. But that's what scanning a image in and then copy, cut, paste and stuff in Paint is for. And you can make a old school map that everyone's familiar with, new and unusual, and people are going to meta on you and say, that's not the way this tunnel goes. It is now. Bite me.
I don't know what tunnel you've been in, but this is obviously not that tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the DM. Yeah, things
And it's
can
even
change.
It's even easier nowadays because Drive-Thru RPG is selling all these classic modules from the TSR days. They come with the maps.
Yep.
Put them in your computer, change them around, print them out.
It's true. I mean, actually, I'm gonna give a little. Number one, I'm gonna give a little shout out to if I could find his name, but this guy, yeah, here it is. This guy, his name's Tim, and he has a website. If I could find the actual thing. Hey, I'm giving him a shout out.
I just did give him a shout out. So.
That's funny. But this guy, he goes on Dragon's Foot. He's been doing this for 7 years. 7? Wow. I mean, he basically goes into like paint shop. I think he was using a GIMP earlier, in the beginning, but he started using paint shop, and he's been putting out classic dungeon maps for this long, and he does excellent work.
Paint Shop Pro is my go-to for all graphic stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I could actually do it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's Photoshop on the cheap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've been thinking about. There's a website somewhere that I found that they actually make fantasy dungeon maps using GIMP, and I just haven't had the time to sit down and learn it.
Imp hurts my head.
So what was that guy's name?
His online name is Turgenev, but his real name is Tim. I wish I could find his website.
So some call him
Tim.
Tim. Oh God, we walked right into that.
You walked right into that.
Yes, I did.
One more place.
There it is. There it is. His website is Paratime. That's PARATIME design. It's actually the address is paratime.ca. So that's his website.
It's a Canuck.
Yeah, he is. And he's got cartography. I mean, he's got Creative Commons license stuff. He's got portfolios that he sells and things like that. I mean, the guy's really good at this.
I'm going to throw a shout out for myself at another guy who does the exact same thing, Christopher West of mapsofmastery.com. He does amazing things, and he regularly has Kickstarters about his projects where you can get his entire library on DVD.
Awesome.
All right, my turn.
Okay.
I just for another shout out for a guy for getting maps. I got one name to mention.
Corey.
Dyson.
Corey. Oh.
Dyson's dodecahedron. Please go to his blog and look at all the stuff he does. He sells them too. He's got like a 11, 12 level dungeon there called Dyson's Delve.
Uh-huh.
And I've taken stuff at the convention game I ran 2 years ago. 2 of my maps were his modified. Now he's going to sue me. Fine. So
yeah, well,
no, they're free for the taking, folks. Dyson, check him out. Dyson's dodecahedron. Your turn, Corey.
I was just saying that
too.
I make some pretty good maps. That's all I was saying.
Okay, and he's at Corey's Pretty Good Maps.
Corey's pretty good map. Not excellent maps, not great maps, just pretty good.
Well, it's like the Lake Woebegone thing,
Mm-hmm.
The children are average.
You get like 3/4 of a map that is pristine and beautiful and professional quality, and then there's some liquor stains on the paper, followed by a note that says, "Forget it, just finish it yourself."
Yeah.
You're okay, I forget you're the Dean Martin of cartographers. But that's my suggestion. Steal a map if you can't do it yourself.
Yep. Yeah, there are plenty of resources, and if you're a player who's doing maps, you can either try and be meticulous or you can do it fast and dirty as long as you can read what you put down. So either way. So, whatever works for you.
Oh yeah.
Well, I go with the random mix depending on the circumstance and how fast we have to work. I like to use graph paper. If I'm on the player side of the screen, I'll try to follow along as best I can, or I'll freehand it on open sheets of blank white paper, like when we're generating the maps that go along with our brainstorms, and can get generally close enough to the idea of what's going on. I got a couple other tools that I put in my kit bag of useful stuff. I print out some dot matrix or dot grid instead of actual graph paper. I get some printouts of light graph paper, except it only has dots with like a centimeter or a 1/4-inch grid or whatever, and that way you're not distracted by the lines other than what you actually lay down. I've been doing the same thing with my whiteboards that I put on the table if I'm or on the wall. I've got some whiteboards where I put a 1-inch dot grid on it and can just draw maps that stand out from the grid, but the grid doesn't overwhelm it. It's there to reference if you need to use it, especially if you're doing miniatures and mapping. When it comes to the GM side of the screen, I lay down everything from the cardboard bits of Hero Quest, drawing on the drawing on top of the Chessex gaming mats, or throwing down the Dwarven Forge, or whatever it is as we go along. And if the party wants to take the time to collect the information and write it down as they go, that's on them to remember to do it. But I'm not going to hold things up unless the party is declaring we're holding things up to document the map, in which case I go with the Brian thing and eventually that will turn into encounters or missed encounters and stuff like that as time is consumed. But generally, players can be fast. Somebody in the group is going to be the mapping person. I've had groups that had absolutely no interest in mapping. It happens. You can deal with that. You present the map that they're on, for whatever reason. I'm into miniatures, so I have generally something like Dwarven Forge down there. And when things start going crazy and the fear spells pop up and someone takes off running, you just don't lay the map out for them. You tell them left, right, straight, which way you're going. Left, right, straight, which way you're going. And they end up somewhere in the dungeon elsewhere, hopefully outer door.
Yep. Now you mentioned grids.
Yes.
And other grids. That makes me want to do one more general shout out to Incompetech.com.
Yeah,
that's
grid paper, hex paper, dot paper, what he mentioned.
Isometric paper. You can do everything with their stuff. Download a PDF blank of any sheet of paper style you want in any interval of dot or line or space sizing you want.
Color you want. Right?
And go nuts with it.
Yes, he's the gamer and the podcaster's friend because he also puts a lot of like free music out that we can use in the podcast.
Yep.
But anyway, but Incompetech.com. What do you guys do? THACOshammer@gmail.com. Tell us about it. Let's go to Loaded for Bear.
What the hell's wrong with you? Put your gear on. I said put your gear on.
I'd like to keep this handy for close encounters.
I heard that. Look, what do you do? Sleep with that thing on your pillow? I would if I slept.
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Loaded for Bear. Loaded for Bear. Now, the player character tools of the trade for mapping. Now, are we talking about the players who are sitting there mapping while he's talking, or the characters?
Characters.
Yes.
Oh, well, it says it right there. Duh.
Sorry.
You know, I've had like every time I think about it, I have my character throw in like 3 or 4 sheets of parchment and some ink.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he says PC tools of the trade for mapping. He could be talking about AD&D Core Rules 2.0 and expansion because that does that too.
Yeah, it does do that. But no, I did not mean that. I should have been a little more specific. But yeah.
Yeah, well,
so
that's Brian.
Yeah, well, well, let's see. As a player, of course, at the very least, a blank sheet of paper. The larger, the better. Because
skin.
Or well, I'm talking about players, not characters. But
I marked the back of my
horse. I'm talking about characters too. Skin. Oh, you're talking about players?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you got
skin works too. You ever draw a map on your hand or arm?
Yeah, of course I have. But yeah, okay.
While gaming, it happens.
Yeah. Then there must be a paper shortage or something. But anyway. Usually you want to be able to write down notes on maps and, just have the room to do that. If bad comes to worse and you go off the paper, start another sheet, and, so forth and so on. A good mechanical pencil, a good eraser, separate from the pencil, actually. And just a steady hand and being able to ask the DM, was that 60 feet or 70, and that kind of thing.
If you're not dealing with graph paper, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you're dealing with graph paper, but yeah.
Oh yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can always throw the distances and spaces down in just notations on the sides of your lines.
That's true.
Hey, you said it was 50 by 80. I wrote down 50 by 80. It may not be 50 by 80 in dimension, size, or shape, but we have the mean of it, and we can grid it later.
True.
Right. That way you don't have to have a graph for anything. Just mark it down.
Right.
Graph dot whatever.
Mm-hmm. Corey.
You know what I found out works great on? Let me talk about Computech for a minute here. Again, I adjust the graph paper he has, so I have the horizontal lines a little thicker than the vertical lines. That way I can use it as a graph paper and also lines like lined paper. So if I have to write something on there, it makes it a lot easier.
There's also products that were put out by things like Chessex and stuff like that, where they gave you pads of graph mapping paper with hexes or squares on one side.
Black Blade Publishing.
Maybe they have bundles of things where they have the little box that has the place where you put the key. You know, whatever your map key is, and then your notes about the map and a place to put the map and lines underneath the map already pre-printed and published that way. Single-sided, double-sided, all kinds of stuff like that. You can also get, and this is some useful stuff, you go down to your Office Max and stuff, and you can pick up parchment paper that you can print on. You can print your maps on things that look like parchment or scrolls. They have an art piece that looks like a outrolled scroll, and print on those. I hand out those as maps all the damn time.
Yep.
You know what knocked me out? I went into Walgreens and found a 2-pack of Post-it graph paper notes.
Interesting.
They're about the size of size of a large index card.
Yeah, I have them sitting right here.
Oh, they are so nice. And Black Plate Publishing makes graph paper pads from like that size, notepad size, all the way up to like humongous size. They sell them at North Texas every year. You can probably buy them on the website along with the boss, Rick. But anyway,
plug.
That's another plug. Yep. Anyway,
new name for the show: Plugamatic.com.
Yeah, that'll be our website if we go independent or something. But yeah, I mean, but as far as player, I mean, now if you're going into characters, it's like, you know, your character, if he's gonna be the pseudo cartographer of the party, at least several pieces of parchment, quill and ink, the standard stuff. Maybe if he's intelligent enough, maybe some sort of measuring device like a piece of string, or even maybe a ruler, depending on the tech level of the game, of course.
I got it tattooed on the back of his neck.
we just carry a loaf of bread and drop crumbs.
I just had a yellow beard.
I had a ranger who I used, whose father was a cartographer, a wilderness cartographer. So my ranger carried a shield, and he carried a piece of charcoal and would draw the map on the backside of his shield.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Charcoal or chalk, that works.
Either way, yeah, for sure. But I mean, as far as the player goes, have good materials.
Pull a piece of bark. Pull a piece of smooth bark off a tree and use it.
There you go.
Just make sure it's not a treant. But
animate a dead torchbearer and carve it in his back with a razor. Whatever.
Oh, Lord. Tattoo it. Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how many?
I made a copy. I tattooed it on the top of his head. And then I kept him in a closet for 12 years. Might be why he's a bit strange with all his books and stuff, like Lord Lamborn.
Exactly. And how many movies have we seen where the treasure map was tattooed on somebody, or part of it was on one and part was on another?
You ever see Lust of the Dust?
No.
It was a parody western with Divine and Laney Kazan, and the map to the gold mine was tattooed on one cheek of one of Divine's butt and one cheek of Laney Kazan's butt. And you had to put them together to see the map.
Yeah, you must really want that treasure. But aside from I could see that for sure. A perverted enough DM. There's someone who comes to mind. I won't mention his name.
Vince.
Yeah, no, not Vince.
Okay.
But yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's, just having the right materials as a player helps streamline the process, and, of course, having it translates, of course, having the right materials as, in game as well. So just spend the money on the good stuff, pretty much.
Oh yeah. And
this is one of those useful things that you might want to get. It gets bulky and it gets messy and it's easy for the stuff to break. So this is the kind of thing to have your little piece of extra dimensional space to keep it in safe.
True enough. Yeah, because usually aside from the backup cache and the spare weapons, that's the most important thing.
Just don't spill the ink on all your money.
Yeah, that would be bad for sure.
On all your gold pieces, yeah. Anyway, I'm sure, and players are devious people. They'll figure out a way to mark something on something.
You can also go in for some of the other useful things, like you can use your wizard mark or magical writing skills to put magical writings on your map to protect the contents. You can use forgery to try and encrypt your map. You can use special inks that are invisible or only show up under the moon runes, or just your simple, lemon juice.
Oh God! Speaking of lemon, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. That I forgot about when I was transcribing Maze of the Riddling Minotaur to second edition rules, and it was before I found a reliable copy online. But basically, I had the map, and I basically had to transcribe that from the loose scale that the adventure map was into an actual legitimate map. Yeah, it wasn't easy. I did it. It was a pain in the butt, but it wasn't easy.
You know, it was a pain in the butt for me one time when I ran one of my first dungeons for Gage. I decided to use a abandoned mine that was taken over by goblins and told them to clean it out. It was a map from Dyson. Sorry, Dyson, this is the downside.
Go ahead.
He had a series of maps where he did like cutaway maps.
Okay.
Like the homes, the homes exam. And he did this cutaway map of this dungeon. It was beautiful, but I had a hell of a hard time figuring out how it looked from the top down, like how big the rooms were and everything.
Well, isometric maps like that are crazy. I've had people complaining about the friggin' Ravenloft map the same way. It's not as bad as you think. Yeah, it's the 3D 3/4 view perspective with walls and like the roofs
the
are taken away.
view. Yeah, the 3/4 view is fine, but a side view, it's like, how big are those rooms?
Oh yeah, those are just evil and wicked.
Yeah.
Like,
you mean side on, as if you just
straight up side views.
Yeah.
Those are bad.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
It was an awesome map, but dang it.
Yeah, then you got to sort of try to make it work, and I can understand it could reduce you to tears really
Well, the
quickly.
good news is that actually gives you some leeway as a GM to say, hey, these rooms are this wide, these rooms are that wide, and guess what? There's actually rooms deeper in on the same level, forward or back. You can add that third dimension of depth there and expand the dungeon for the things you need to make it your own.
That's true.
So it's not a horrid thing.
Oh, you know what the icing on the cake for that map was?
What's that?
It was stocked. It was stocked already. It was stocked with stuff, but none of the descriptions mentioned how big the rooms were.
Big enough to fit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and the funny part is, and I wish that other manufacturers of independent, even stuff made by TSR back in the day, took it from Tegel Manor. Each room, the first thing you see in the room description is how wide it is, how long it is, how high the ceiling is. So you have the actual dimensions of the room if someone decides to ask. Oh, what's that room? How big is this room again? 40 by 30 by 20 feet high. And you don't have to guesstimate or just make something off the top of your head.
Well, usually you can say it's a long, narrow room with a ceiling twice the height of a fighter, and you can get by with that. But unless someone's taking the time to laser level the room, you have to tell them the numbers. However, if you are running in, say, a Roll20 environment, you might want to tell people the numbers so they can accurately represent them for you if they're doing the mapping duties for you.
Are you taking another shot at me?
No. I'm offering a tip for people who are playing in a Roll20 environment.
Yeah, you folks, just listen back to a couple of our Hammers of the Duchy episodes where Falon and I were trying to grok the system on Roll20. Now it's funny. At the time, it kind of wasn't. It kind of slowed the game down a little bit, but hey, it
was
worked
still
out.
funny, especially when we drew the bodies.
Yeah. I'm trying to describe something, and all of a sudden I see bodies being drawn. I'm like, will you guys stop it?
Or body parts of men.
Yeah, that too.
And Glenn, and Glenn, it's like, Glenn, stop drawing the sign "free beer" over here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And what was that? What was that one god's name? Aflac or that drew the duck? Aflac.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
it was. Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was. We'll get back to it eventually.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Just got scratched
anyway,
this Marvel itch.
Off the subject. Shall we? You guys talk about it amongst yourselves and send us the results at thacoshammer@gmail.com, and we'll send you no prize. Anyway, let's go on to DM's Rag.
Journey now to an age undreamed of
An age of mystery and magic.
You are a worthy opponent.
5. Oh, great. So you got an arrow right in your chest, and you're out 10 melee.
Oh, no. Don't worry about it, Mike. I got resurrection. I'll bring you back.
I'm already one of the undead, Greg. I can still throw death spells, huh, Steve?
The DM's rag.
DM's rag. All the young kids are going to not know what that means, but that's okay. Yeah, TSR's GR3, TSR 9377 treasure maps.
Yes, indeed.
This is not so good that they did a sequel, Treasure Maps 2.
Yes, they did.
Basically, it was a bunch of treasure maps with plot hooks and stuff for them, and
plot hook on one side, map on the other, go.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the stats of the area that the players actually go to.
That was the start of TSR starting to get really fancy with their maps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked
it. Another incarnation of them getting incredibly lazy with their maps, as anyone and everyone who owns X1 will attest.
Yes.
Yeah, you have a
The
point.
return of the Isle of Dread yet again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And again.
But it got to the
but the island rotated.
And again. Cataclysm, New North, doesn't matter. And again.
It's so true. He's right.
What I liked when they start getting fancy with stuff with color and everything. All I could think of was, how am I going to duplicate this?
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing.
You know,
that's why they gave you like the players, what you gave the players, and what the DM kept with all the pertinent information and whatnot.
Right. Right.
Okay. I mean, this could be like, depending on how the DM decides to do it, this could be a session. You know, a couple of maps.
This was published when?
This was published.
90s?
Yeah, this is Slade's work. This whole thing was Slade Henderson's work.
Okay.
Yep. And if I could find the actual thing, I could tell you. Of course, it doesn't tell me. It doesn't give me the information. Going to. Oh, actually, I'll just look it up online.
It was published at the dawn of time.
Yes, long before your sun burned hot in space.
Back when the cave people were alive walls. But anyway, what does it come
in the time before the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Arius.
We made enough noise to keep the wolves awake. Anyway,
Dinner for wolf. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, we have how many?
Okay, I've got 1992.
Okay, Slade.
Yeah, Dale Slade Henson wrote this, did the maps, did the adventures. There are 16 adventures in the supplement, 64 pages, and they did 4 of these. Treasure Maps was the third. The first one was Strongholds, second was Dungeons of Mystery, and the fourth one was Treasure Chest. And we will cover these
Treasure Maps and Treasure. Didn't they do a Treasure Maps too?
No, they only did Treasure Chest. Yeah, that was the sequel.
Yeah, then they did City Sites and Country Sites and a couple others like that.
Castle Sites and Dungeon Sites.
Dungeon Sites, yeah. So
I got.
So basically, these supplements are, the DM, everybody wants to play, but the DM has nothing ready. He could just, open up a couple of these, do a little role playing, do a little information gathering, and you're off to do something.
A little tap dance and go.
Yep, exactly.
Just like Corey runs his game, yeah.
Who?
Corey.
Oh.
I resemble that remark.
But
isn't that how you run them? You just grab something and it's like, okay, you're doing this. Let's go.
Right. As the summary goes, I'm reading it off of rpg.net. This adventure compilation contains 16 adventures based on a variety of the usual adventuring themes: rescue the princess, explore Forbidden Temple, etc. Each adventure came with 2 full-color maps, one for the player and one for the GM or the DM, that could also be used for homebrew games.
Right.
And
what about Rescue the Temple or Explore the Forbidden Princess?
Princess after you rescue her from the temple.
Exactly. Yeah, after you rescue her from the temple, you never said. Her virginity intact? Her virginity's intact.
That neon rainbow.
You're going places I had no intention to take this conversation.
Yeah,
Thank you
all
very
of a
much.
sudden I put my drink down and I ended up on a different podcast.
Hey, what can I say?
What we say, guys, this isn't on iTunes. This is on iTunes. We gotta keep it clean.
Hey, every once in a while, I got to show I can get down in the muck as well.
It's clean as a virgin's bum. There we go.
Well, yeah. Okay, let's move on. I'm gonna edit that. I'm gonna leave that part out. Anyway, but yeah. So basically, it was like I said, a little information gathering, a little role playing, and you have a session. It's just one of those off the cuff kind of things, and the GM is feeling a little lazy, let's say.
And there's a lot of liquid refreshment going around.
That too. Oh God, that I have memories of a particular game, and I'll just leave it at that.
There's a little independent game out there from like 25 years ago called Dinky Dungeons that I would only haul out when we were all drinking.
I can only imagine how it went.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Like I said, the color map for the players, of course, is not. It could be like a map of an area or even a map of a dungeon or something like that. On the back, it has the information of what the map looks like, what it's made of, and there are several rumors. Some rumors that the players might have come across or have come across regarding the map, and then. The other map, of course, is the one that's fully outfitted for the DM, and it'll basically tell them it'll tell the DM what the player's map says, and then if there's a discrepancy, it will explain the discrepancy. I'm looking at the first adventure in the collection. It's called Down by the Seaside, and the DM's map is a seaside against a shallow cliff with trees on the shore. The players
have a dragon that uses underwater tunnels. Didn't we do this already?
No, I don't think so.
That was a playful jest at our DM brainstorm.
Oh, that's right. Oh, geez, yeah, and
folks, where else are you going to get the jokes explained to you? But on this show.
Yeah, because one of the hosts is slow on the uptake. Yeah. Yeah, that too. It will give any descriptions of the area and in the notes, and if there's any danger in this area, it'll explain that. It'll explain any monsters are in there, and it'll explain the treasure that might be contained therein. The only problem I had, well, it's not a problem, but I noticed.
Did you just say therein instead of therein?
Therein, tomato. I'm tired, dude. Anyway,
okay. Just checking.
Yeah, I said it. That's right, I said it. Anyway, one of the themes that I've seen in most of these maps is that Slade kind of took it where a lot of the treasure the party finds, at least half of it is false in some way.
Huh.
And I'm like, yeah, once or twice, 3 times, sure, but almost every adventure, there's like some fool's gold involved in it. And that's the only gripe I have about this supplement.
Well, all good treasure maps, because that's the whole point of this one. Is it was not just keys to adventure. These are treasure maps. Treasure maps are expected to be found, and they're expected to be used, and they're expected to be stolen, and they're expected to lie.
True.
Because they have to protect the real treasure for the ones who really know how to read the map.
Point.
Right.
So it's not a horrible thing to have as a shtick throughout all of it, because you don't see the same type of thing crop up in their other products they came out with eventually.
True. Yeah, you have a point. There's one here that basically the map is so fragile and brittle that you have to make a dex check and a -5 penalty when you're unrolling it to keep it in one piece.
Wow.
and if the check fails, the map breaks into 3 to 18 pieces. You roll 3d6, and then after like 1d8 rounds of work, you can reassemble it like a jigsaw puzzle. Then you got to figure out how to transport it without destroying it.
If you're totally down with doing damage to your products or have access to a good color printer, you make a copy, you hand it to the players, they blow it, you tear it up and hand it back to them.
Yep.
That's what I do.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I would. Go down to Office Depot and make a copy. It's like, hey, this is what happens, Rip.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I would take it because you could always tell kind of copy with the margins. I would cut it so it looks like the actual map and not show them the other side. And I go, Rip, dude, your own stuff? No, idiot, it's a copy.
Wow. And
props. You heard it first here on THACO's Hammer.
There you go, for sure. And and I'm just going through some of the adventures they have in here, and some of these encounters are pretty nasty. And some of it, and see, that goes back to the segment we did on our little series about mitigating DMs. When you're reading something like this, you kind of got to eyeball it and say, this is good, this is too strong for my party, it pretty much will kill them, this might kill them, this will provide a good challenge, blah, 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 on down the line. You got to kind of eyeball it and trust your instincts when it comes to it. But,
right.
Add some, take some, whatever you got to do to make it party appropriate, not level appropriate, party appropriate.
Campaign appropriate if you're running a campaign.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
This is also good for. These also are good for a quick little add-on side quest injection if you're finding that your party hasn't met the level needs to advance to go to the next stage of an adventure. They're always looking for that little something extra to do that you can throw a tangent at them to let them chew on for a bit and level up a bit if needed.
Oh heck yeah, I'd roll with that.
Wow.
Those
are side quests and
resurrection
like that.
budget.
Yeah, there you go. That'll work for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have.
Go ahead.
No, talk.
No, I'm just like as we're talking, I'm going through some of these maps. There is one and they call the adventure Enter Sandman. And you basically go into a pyramid where a great queen is buried with all her treasures, and basically, not only do you have to deal with greater mummies, and we covered those, and they're pretty tough to deal with. You have to deal with 4 of them, but if you defeat them, of course there are treasures, and huge, massive treasures, but if you remove certain items from a burial chamber, you deal with the avatar of a god.
I would put that in the very bottom of the Lost City.
Yeah, I have Lost City. Basically, that's what you.
Why? Put it at the top to keep the unworthy out.
Exactly. But yeah.
Yeah, but that way they get sacrifices. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like I said, I like these because, like I said, depending on which ones you pick and how it plays out, it can be an entire night's worth of adventure without
this
too
could
much prep.
and any of these can kickstart a campaign.
Yeah.
And they can be everything from legitimate maps to maps that are lies to scams that are perpetrated by forgers in the town from the Thieves Guild. Or say you have the handy little cartographer who's lurking in the town selling maps to the dragon's lair, who you get to, and it's the dragon enticing adventurers to his lair by selling them maps.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as availability goes, I'm sure eBay has their King's Ransom versions. I found it a couple of times that have price books for a decent, amount like $10 to $15. But the thing is, since this was all loose leaf, you got to make sure it's complete.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why your best investment is probably to go for one of the PDF versions that are available from things like the
drive-through,
drive-through RPG or the TSR website or the Wizards website that sells their old TSR products for PDF for sale.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I just looked at Noble Knight. They don't have it, but but I can. I don't think that it'll be too expensive, but
it's out there.
It's out there. You can obtain it. If just do your homework. There are several places you can go. And you know what? I'll see if I'll find out if Drive-Thru has it, because I know they're printing a bunch of stuff. But
yeah, I seem to. You know what?
What?
Remember when the Wizards website used to, or even the TSR website used to put all this stuff that they weren't publishing anymore?
On
I think
PDF,
that was
yeah.
one.
Or not
I
PDF.
think that was one of them.
You might be right.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, it was. That's where I picked up City Sites. Same time.
Well, you want, if that's the case, then go to archive.org and access the Wayback Machine, and see if you can get it through the TSR website that way.
TSR or the old Wizards website, whatever they got archived. You might even be able to dig around the current Wizards website and find it somewhere.
Maybe.
Or just Google them or something. I usually find this stuff through the back door, the side door. I'm looking for something else and it pops up.
Right.
You know, from somebody's. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want that thing. Yeah, I mean, I found the entire run of the map a week.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
It's like, and that people are archiving this stuff because, you know, as Wizards get rid of it, no, go here. It's right here. It's either on archive.org or Wizards hasn't dumped it yet or something. You know, now that I've said that, they're going to go dump them. Anyway, but this kind of stuff, that's the kind of stuff. I mean, they put the original Ravenloft out on PDF on their site for freaking one time.
Oh, yeah. I downloaded that.
It's on eBay right now for $11 or for $12.
There you go.
That's not so bad.
It's a nice accessory, and it's a nice for having your DM's bag of tricks when you need to pull something out right away.
Exactly. It's always good to have those just in case.
Yeah. Anyway, you tell us about your stories at THACOshammer@gmail.com, and it's time to close the splat book.
Yes, it is.
And just in time, too, so go out there and tog. All you guys, say goodnight, Corey.
Good night, folks. Have a good time. We'll see you next time, and let us know if you got any maps.
Yeah, so we can use them for our games. How about you, Brian?
And just remember, folks, if you are actively pursuing rumors about a pair of green dragons out in the woods, don't be surprised if the person who's giving you information turns out to be one of them.
True.
Yep. That is one of the adventures and treasure maps. That's pretty much what happens.
Full on?
Well, Gamer Nation, your path may be long and varied, but make sure somebody keeps a record of it.
Just in case.
And if you find a couple of dragons out there in a meadow and the meadow's all torn up and they leave $50, you know what happened.
Oh, gee.
So
you just turned into the cleanup crew.
Yo, thank you. This is DM Glenn saying I'll see you next. We'll all see you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer. Bye bye. Hey, you know it's just building up, and finally, ba-boom. Couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
That's how I became a father for the first time.
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at THACOshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at THACOshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.